I'm Douglas Kelly. Today we are at Cheim Read, where we're visiting a show called The Female Gaze, which opened about a week ago. And it is a terrific show. It's all women artists doing portraiture primarily of other women, but there's a little bit of sculpture and photography and painting, but it's an all-star grouping of artists. The gaze has to do with how we communicate by looking at things. There's the gazer and what I call the gazee. And French feminists were very much interested in the concept of the gaze because it deals, their interest in feminine subjectivity is that the feminism shifted in the 60s to one of sexual inequality. And so they were interested in how things were presented in society. And there was this theory that the society was totally logocentric, or as Juliana Kristeva called it, phallo-logocentric, which meant in analyzing language that there was no absolute feminine voice. There was only the male point of view. And so there was an interest in creating a feminine identity, which was not subject to, male domination. This is a photograph of Katy Grannan, who is a Yale photographer who burst upon the scene about 10 years ago. And she does candid portraits of young women in a large format, and I think they're very charming. Mickalene Thomas shows at Lehman Maupin. And this 4 portraits of the same person is a little bit of what I would call an Andy Mannerist painting, in the fact that it is a multiple portrait, but done with so much more warmth than a Warhol. But let's go look at another Andy Mannerist one in here. This is an artist named Deborah Kass, whose principal milieu is imitating Warhol paintings and prints. And this is of Barbara Streisand, and it is called the Jewish Jackie. Here is a Cindy Sherman, whose work was very influential. She started in the 70s doing pictures of herself, self-portraits as different women and characters, as if she were an actress. A lot of the work that she does has to do with identity, of her trying on different identities to see how they would work, because it's less modeling a character as an actress as adopting different persona to see how it feels and how it would look and how it would be portrayed. This is a Diane Arbus, which looks a little bit like a Britney Spears. Is a woman with shiny lipstick, I think is the title, like 1967. But it's almost like a Chuck Close photograph or painting, the way it's super wide angle and so up close and from a little bit below eye level. It is sort of really in your face. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful photograph. This Berenice Abbott photograph over here is beautiful, and it's sort of like a Picasso painting because it has the big shadow profile of the woman. And it looks sort of like Duchamp as in drag or something, but the idea of this show, a lot of it is portraits of women taken by women, because the whole thing of the gaze is, the theory of the gaze is that how we communicate is what we see. And so if you had a movie, it's the director's gaze that you're seeing. And so often movies, when they're showing the female form, will like linger on the hips or something. And that means the audience is all absorbing it from the male point of view. This is a show that's about the female point of view. I think this piece is a little ironic. It's by Sarah Lucas, who is a young YBA, a young British artist, who basically makes a lot of her works out of what would be known as fags, which are half-smoked cigarettes, because she's a chain smoker herself. It's called Cigarettes, Tits, 2, Idealized Smoker's Chest, 1999, chair, 2 footballs, cigarettes, and a bra, which those footballs look a little small to me, but I think it is an ironic thing of like how males would portray women as just an object, because the feminist objection is that the dominating male view of the gazer, of the gaze, is that women are objectified and made into sex objects in almost every way of representation. So this draws attention to that. This is a room of portraits. When you see them all together, you can really see that the point of view is distinctly but subtly not male, and that it's a uniting feature of all of this work. And it's an interesting way of looking at things. The whole concept of the gaze goes down to fundamentally what are the mechanisms of how we communicate.